23rd edition of the Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series, brought to you by the National Urban League. I'm your host, Kenneth L. Johnson, president of the Harlem, New York-based diversity recruitment firm East Coast Executives. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. The Digital Career Success Series, DCSS, is a professional development series that helps members of our Urban League Young Professional chapters and other diverse job seekers develop new skill sets that will enhance their careers through digital platforms such as webinars, Facebook, and Instagram Live. The goal is to provide an opportunity for professional development right from one's computer. You want more? Visit nuljobsnetwork.com. Today's DCSS, Next Level LinkedIn, Building Your Brand with LinkedIn, featuring Kel Brown, is sponsored by LinkedIn. We'll provide impactful tips on how you may leverage LinkedIn to be seen in a robust employment marketplace. Man, I saw these slides. I'm really excited about this, but more importantly, I'm excited to welcome Kel to the show. How are you today, sir?
Kenneth, first of all, I'm so excited to be here. Urban League is near and dear to my heart. I was actually a scholarship recipient when I was in high school, back when I growing up in New York City. So this feels at home. So I feel like I'm with family.
Man, you know, they say once an urban leaguer, always an urban leaguer. So we're excited to have you on the platform, man. We're excited to know that you're part of the Urban League family. But I guess more importantly right now, you got a big family over at LinkedIn. Tell us a little bit about the work you do there.
Yeah. So I work on the social impact team. And what that means, I always tell people is that we think of like LeBron James, right? And we just had the NBA season opener last night with him and Bronny on the team. And, LeBron doing well in the world is, winning championships with the Los Angeles Lakers. That might be a little slow this year because the Knicks, the Knicks are back, baby. Knicks are back. So,
It
but
didn't
that's him
look like
doing
it
well.
last
But
night.
yeah, exactly. I know it was tough. It was tough. The Celtics killed us. But LeBron doing well is him, winning championships with the Lakers. Him doing good is having the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio, which is one of the best schools I've ever seen in my life. And when you think about LinkedIn doing well is, us getting more money, giving more, to shareholders, but actually helping people with economic opportunity. But when you think about us doing good, that's what our team does. So I sit on the social impact team, and we're the philanthropic arm of LinkedIn, where we're saying, how does LinkedIn do work in the community? How do we help people? How do we usher in economic opportunity? And we think about professionals overcoming barriers and how, communities that face love, joy, and passion in their lives, and at the same time face historic, systemic, and current injustice as they move to the economic ladder. So when you think about, how we partner with those different nonprofits, like Urban League, like so many different others around the world, how are we helping people? How are we helping them get their next level up in the job market and understand that they have the right skills, knowledge, and networks to succeed?
Man, I'm looking at your title here, Social Impact, Strategic Partnerships. I love it. I love the work you're doing. We try to have some social impact here at the Digital Career Success Series. I want everybody on the platform, chime in, let us know where you're at. Kel, we have a very robust community that loves to talk and chat. So they'll be in the chat. But also, if you have questions for Mr. Brown, please do not hesitate to leave them in the Q&A. All right, everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, AI right now. And it seems like LinkedIn being in the forefront of workplace, they've embraced some AI tools as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, artificial intelligence has been in our technologies for a long time, right? Like most people think AI is like a new thing because of the advent of ChatGPT and Copilot, but really it's been inside the platform for a long time. It's just been on the back end and people didn't know about it. But now with the advent of generative AI, things like chatbots, like ChatGPT, Copilot, you have the integration, you have this explode where people are like, okay, are you using AI for that? What is that? How do I get engaged? And what we did is, our CEO made a decision in late 2022, early 2023, that we're going to be an AI forward company, where we started to invest in infusing AI, generative AI inside our different products on the LinkedIn platform, not just for customers, but for people. Because we know that like at the end of the day, our job at LinkedIn is to help people get jobs and build their networks. That's the baseline value proposition of the platform. And we start to infuse AI into these different moments on the platform where, a lot of people, they go and say, I want to message a recruiter because, as my mama would say, a closed mouth don't get fed, right? But they don't know what to say. So when you're thinking about drafting a message with AI, you can message hiring managers directly, and you don't know what to say. You can let AI do that work for you and say, hey, like, what do I need to say to this person? How can I highlight my skills and expertise? Because we know that like job searching and reaching out to people can be anxiety inducing. So AI kind of steps in and takes that pressure off and gives you a groundwork to start from, which is super helpful. Another thing, just to zoom out a little bit and ground get into AI a little bit more, but I tell people all the time that like, LinkedIn is a platform where people are getting to that bag, right? They are getting jobs, they're getting opportunities, they're getting networks, and AI helps empower that. But to give you a couple of statistics, right? Like we know that 7 people are hired on LinkedIn every single minute, right? That's a lot of people, right? There's a billion people on the platform, right? And then when you think about access, it's like 1.9 million recruiters on the platform. So those are the people who are the first gatekeepers to that job, to that interview, that are constantly using the platform. And then you think about 45 million job seekers visit LinkedIn every single month. So when you think about LinkedIn, the late great Kobe Bryant said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So if you think about, if you're not shooting your shot on LinkedIn, how are you playing the game? And what AI does is help you play that game and say, hey, you might not know where to start. You might not know what dribbling moves you need to do. Love the basketball analogies, but AI helps you get there. So that's first and foremost. I think the second piece is thinking about content, and we'll get to content later in the conversation, but AI allows you to draft content of like, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know what to post on LinkedIn. I'm kind of like a watcher. I'm only here when I have a job, like when I'm looking for a job or whatever have you. But we tell people like all the time, like everyone is a wealth of knowledge that has gained a lot of skills that they can offer to somebody else. We had the idea of like each one teach one, right? So when you think about AI as it relates to to content posting, AI can actually you can draft posts with AI to say, okay, I don't know what to talk about, but I'm thinking about what is it like to navigate the workforce as a new mom, right? How do I think about, going through a job search after I got laid off? Or I'm a really good expert in marketing or public speaking, but I really want to share my expertise, but I'm not sure where to start. And then AI helps you do that, right? Where it gives you that draft, gives you that first kind of layer of where you can go. And then the third piece, you think about, getting to that money is like that you can search jobs with AI. So on the LinkedIn platform, when you go to the jobs tab, you can start to search jobs with AI and say, okay, like it'll ask you, what kind of jobs are you looking for? What kind of skill sets do you have? Where are you a top applicant? What companies are hiring? And AI is going to pull all those things together in a conversational tone that's going to make it less anxiety inducing to understand where you need to put your energy, because we know time is money, right? So when you're searching for jobs, you're not trying to apply to every single job under the sun, but you're trying to apply to jobs where you'll have the most likely opportunity to get that job and where it's most aligned with your skills and your background. And AI allows you to do that, but it also allows you to discover other jobs, right? Because it's constantly pulling things together in a chat kind of way to say, okay, like it's scanning your profile, it's scanning what's on the platform, and pulling that all together in a digestible format that people can really engage with, enabling a job seeking process to be so much easier than it's ever been before.
K-Vel, we were doing LinkedIn profile reviews at the National Urban League Conference in New Orleans this year. And
Yeah.
everyone that participated in the LinkedIn profiles received a LinkedIn premium account. And
Mhm.
so I've heard from some of the people that I worked with, and they were saying the thing they really appreciate about the premium account is using the AI when they get stuck. Because
Yes,
sometimes it's hard to kind of reflect and write about yourself. Like you said, you just need something to start you out, something to work from as a draft that you can build upon and still feel comfortable and confident that you're getting the right, conveying the right message, right? So I think that's
exactly.
important. But then more importantly to what you were speaking about, someone that's kind of, it's almost like a job search assistant. They're actually
Right.
telling you these opportunities may be right for you.
Exactly. That's totally right. I mean, we're proud as an organization to, partner with the Urban League, sponsor the Urban League, and provide premium codes to so many people that you all reach and serve. And we just we want to help people level up. right? And when you have LinkedIn Premium, you then get access to all these different AI tools that we've just talked about. And like you said, it's a game changer where it just makes that process so easier because people are just trying to put food on their table, either
Yes.
or get a better opportunity or meet the right person. And it's we just want to enable that and really partner with community.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Getting a better opportunity. So you guys have learning courses on the platform that allow people to level up indeed, right? You literally can take courses to get advanced skill sets or even knowledge of an area that you want to kind of excel in, and getting this knowledge from thought experts, right, in the space. I think that's amazing. I think people, it may even be a little underused. I look at some of the numbers and I'm like, wow, it's amazing how many people are taking these courses, but they're so great that I'm like, I think more people should be involved with taking the courses. Tell us a little bit about what's offered on the platform.
Yeah, so for sure. Thank you for asking about that. When LinkedIn Learning is such for those who remember, LinkedIn Learning is actually what lynda.com used to be.
Mm.
So LinkedIn purchased Lynda maybe in about 2014-ish, around that time. And lynda.com was an amazing platform that people were learning, and it really cut down of like that journey of like, oh, I need to go to college or I need to enroll in a degree program that was super expensive. But lynda.com at the time was like, hey, you can learn in a more discreet way, in a way that's not as expensive, in a way that you have more optionality, in a way that is really helpful. So LinkedIn purchased lynda.com and took it to the next level to now we're the world's largest digital learning library of content, right? Where people come to the platform every day, and everything from I'm trying to learn, how to write emails better, close digital
Yes.
literacy gaps, right? Or I need to like figure out how do I manage conflict in the workplace, or how am I thinking about diversity in the workplace, or managing my emotions, all the way to more hard skill stuff of like how do I code, or how do I like write a business plan, or how do I construction management, like whatever it is. There's probably a course on LinkedIn Learning for you, and it's over 22,000 courses. So a lot of people tell me like, hey, Val, like I don't know what to watch on there. I don't know what to learn. I'm like, you name it, it's probably on there. So I always tell people that, LinkedIn Learning is a great way to supplement what you already know, but also dabble your feet in things that you haven't done before. Like a lot of people are like, hey, I don't know how to use AI. Well, there's generative AI LinkedIn Learning course for beginners where it's like, okay, let's start 101. How can you learn this? What do you need to know from the get-go? What do you need to know as the foundation? And that's super helpful place to start. But then there's also a little bit more robust content on the platform as well. When you think about professional certificates to display on your profile, where people can say, hey, like I sat through this course that took me like a couple of hours to do, maybe in the 10-hour range, 20-hour range, and I learned a lot of skill sets.
So
And
let's stay there on the skill sets, because
yeah,
there are in-demand skill sets that
yeah,
come along with LinkedIn Learning.
right. Exactly. So like, we know that out of the 22,000 courses, we also, because we have so much data on the platform, we can also say, okay, like what are the top kind of jobs that people are pipelining into today based on what we're seeing in the labor market? And what we see is like AI, sustainability, cybersecurity, project management, and so much more are areas of growth that a lot of people that have a lower barrier to entry. And we want to help people say, hey, like you can take these courses on LinkedIn, get your skill set, get your knowledge level up to then start to say, hey, do I want to pivot into these spaces? Or maybe like my boss or your manager is asking you to learn now and upskill and up level. So now you can start to say, I don't need to, go every which way to find that knowledge, but I can go to one centralized place and get those courses under my belt in order to be a better employee, to set myself up for the next opportunity. But again, like getting to that professional certificates, those are super important as well, because now you can start to display them on your LinkedIn profile, where now recruiters, like say if you're unemployed or maybe you're looking for your next job, are able to say, okay, this person's certified, right? They got this professional certificate. They know what they're doing. They spent the time. They did the work. They are valid in knowing this knowledge, and it really helps you put your best foot forward when it comes down to searching for jobs or even branding yourself. And AI is infusing all this as well, where there's an actual AI coach inside LinkedIn Learning when you have LinkedIn Premium. So how it all comes together, and with the AI coach, like if you're like, okay, I really don't know what to look at, I'm really struggling, or what are some things I should be thinking about, right? So the AI coach in LinkedIn Learning, you're able to say, hey, I'm in this profession, I have this job title, and I'm looking to grow in X, Y, and Z. Or from a more generic standpoint, you can come and say, you know, I want to know what are the top skills that people are learning right now that are leading to promotions. And then the AI tool is going to come together, search your profile, search the LinkedIn Learning platform of the 22,000 courses that are out there, and spit you out an answer of like, hey, here's my 4 recommendations of what the courses you should take to give you an idea of where you should start to go. Or even another use case is if you're like, hey, like I don't like what I'm doing right now. This ain't it. I'm trying to pivot to something else, right? I want to do a different path. And they're saying, if you're saying, hey, I may be in operations now, but I want to get into marketing. What are the courses that I need to really take in order to pivot into marketing? And then the AI tool is going to tell you, okay, here's some places to start, which is really helpful in helping people understand, okay, I'm not alone. I have some direction and I just need a little help of where I need to go.
You know, it's interesting. I look on both sides of this because, and I know our audience, and there's some professionals here that are doing some great work, and they're thought leaders and subject matter experts in their space, but they've taken the opportunity to find opportunities on LinkedIn to deliver some of the LinkedIn learning courses, right? So that's a way to position your brand as well, correct?
Yeah, no, 1,000%. When I think about, positioning yourself on LinkedIn, those learning courses can really be helpful, right? And even if, one eventually becomes a course teacher, that's another way to say, hey, I'm an expert. I know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right? Like I'm a leader in this space. I know what I'm doing to the point where I remember a professor said to me, you know something when you can teach somebody else, right? And that it has that same effect when you become a LinkedIn Learning teacher. But it is a process. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is possible.
definitely possible, man. And it's possible that people can use the platform. So we spoke about AI, right? And we spoke about, the learning opportunities, but just general insights kind of that drive you on the platform. You want to talk a little bit about what that looks like for you, what you're
Yeah.
seeing?
Yeah. So many great insights, especially when you have premium. When you go on your profile and you have premium, you go to like premium features, there's like a whole insights portion where it's telling you because information is power, right? When you're equipped with information, you're able to make decisions, and when you're able to make great decisions, that leads to great action. So when you think about having that information, having that insights on the platform, you're able to see, and I'll get to the Career Explorer in a second, but you're able to see at a company, okay, where are they hiring? Are they increasing their headcount? What's their budget been like? What are the top skills that people have when they hire here? What areas in the company are growing, right? Because again, if you're searching for a job or you're searching for your next big role, you're trying to figure out where can you invest your time because time is money, right? And you don't want to waste that time, and you want to really be strategic about how you use the time because you don't have all day to be searching for opportunities. So the insights page is able to tell you all those different things and at the same time tell you, okay, do you know somebody here? Are there alumni at the school that you went to? Is there other alumni of different companies that you went to that work at this specific place that you're looking to apply? Where now you can start to add that social networking aspect to it and say, I'm not just applying to a black hole on an application website, but I'm also leveraging my network on LinkedIn, using the insights that I learned on the platform in order to better my chances to get a job, which is really helpful and amazing. But then also coming from a standpoint of really being helpful when it comes down to knowing that you have a better chance because with your relationships, a lot of times relationships will take you where your work ethic won't, right? And people will vouch for you and put your names in rooms that you might not even know. And the LinkedIn platform can help you say, okay, like which relationship do I need to leverage in order to put myself in the best position for this opportunity? So that's number one when you think about looking at a company profile with the insights there. Another one is called Skills Match. Skills Match is a great opportunity where the LinkedIn platform is going to tell you, okay, looking at this job, every job is broken down by a set of skills because we all know that like each job has a set of tasks and each each task is associated with a certain level of skills to do that task. So the LinkedIn platform through AI is going to break down and say, okay, like if you're looking to do this job, here are the skill sets that are needed for this job. And it's going to tell you, okay, like based on the skill sets that you have in your profile, here's where your match is, and here are the skills that you either need to highlight that are not there, or here are the skills that you need to gain, and how much a percentage of those of an overlap do you have in order to be a top applicant for this role. And then you're also looking at looking at the top applicant pool of saying the LinkedIn platform is going to tell you how many people have applied to this job, where are these people located, what kind of companies do they come from, what kind of educational background do they have? Do they have master's degrees? Do they have, bachelor's degrees? What seniority level is applying to this role? To then give you an understanding, okay, like this is the type of people that are looking for this job, and how do I stack up against that competition as I'm looking for this different role, which then gets us to a place of the career explorer, which is highlighted here in the presentation. A lot of times people know a lot of job, they know a lot of job titles, but the Career Explorer 2 helps you discover jobs that you may be qualified for with the skills that you already have. So what you do is you go into the Career Explorer tool, scroll down, you plug in and say, okay, like I'm a business operations manager, or maybe I'm an executive assistant. And then it's going to tell you, based on this job title and based on this skill sets, here's the other type of job titles that you may have not known about that you're actually qualified for, which then opens your mind to say, hey, I can just do more than what I am right now. I can aspire to different career paths, and I'm not just locked in to one specific thing, but I have transferable skills to so many different other things. And now the Career Explorer tool is going to help you say, okay, what's the level of overlap that you have with this role? And then what are the skill sets that you need to gain? And then who are the people that you need to connect with? And then what are the learning opportunities that you need to leverage in order to get into that new role that you just learned about? And these are just a few insights that the LinkedIn platform allows you to do. Again, because we know time is money, and we want to equip people with the right information for them to make the right decisions to take the right action.
And it's the Urban League Job Network Digital Career Success Series. Kenneth Johnson, Kel Brown, Next Level LinkedIn. Listen, you are giving them a ton of information today, my friend. I can appreciate it. But I know there are people in the audience asking us two things. They're asking if this session is being recorded. And you can find this session and pretty much all of the Urban League Job Network sessions on the Urban League YouTube channel. So please do not hesitate to go to YouTube probably in about a week and catch this session with Kel as well. But the other question people want to know, they always ask me, what should I post about? I don't know what to put on here when I post. So talk to us about posting. It's such a huge part of the platform. It gets the conversation started. It's what people go there for, to see not only jobs, but sometimes just to get some knowledge about what's happening in their space, right? In their vertical with their career. So talk to us a little bit about posts.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of cringy posts on LinkedIn. Let me be very, let me keep it, as we like to say from Queens or from New York, let me keep it a buck. Like, people post crazy things on that platform. I remember, like, especially during the pandemic, people would be like, I walked outside my door, I saw my neighbor, I talked to my neighbor, he bought a cat. Next thing you know, the cat showed me how to be a better leader, and now I'm a new VP at XYZ startup. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, that sounds crazy. We don't want to hear about that. And then there's all other types of things where people are like braggadocious on the platform too, where like, I'm so excited to announce, I'm deeply honored, I'm so privileged to do XYZ. And those things are cool where, it's helpful. We want to celebrate accomplishment, right? Like, that's not a bad thing. We want people to be up to date with what you're doing. We want people to root for you, and you're rooting for other people. But keep the cringy content off, right? Like, keep it related to work, people related to your industry. People, be humble. Don't be too arrogant on the platform. And but I give people this: the best things to share on LinkedIn is, one, to like be authentic, right? Just be your true self, right? Don't try to put on for the Joneses. Like, be you, because at the end of the day, people are following you, and it's your platform. It's not, it's Kel who works at LinkedIn, but really it's about Kel who's Kel, or Kenneth who's Kenneth, or the people who are in the chat. Like, people care about you as a person rather than the job or the title that you're attached to. And you want to share knowledge and unique experience. So if you're like, hey, like, I just, went through the job search, maybe you got laid off from your job, or maybe you're trying to get a promotion, like what was that like, right? Take people through that process to understand like what are the tactics that you use? How did you stay motivated? Like what are the things that kept you encouraged? What were their failures, right? What are the things that you learned? And that really draws people in to say that like I'm not just looking at a post that's trying to sell me on something or somebody bragging about something, but I'm learning something from this person. And that makes them want to come back and say, I want to see what does Kenneth have to say now? I want to follow Kavo's journey of trying to get a better job, or I want to find out about like what he's doing to become a better speaker or whatever have you. Where now you're posting engaging content that is actually valuable to other people. So that's number one. Number two is that you want to try different formats, play with it, right? Like there's no risk in it, right? Like you can, do text. Video is huge on LinkedIn these days. We're actually in a moment right now where we are tweaking the algorithm to promote video more than we ever have. So if you're like, hey, you just want to do a 30-second video, maybe something a minute video on like an experience or behind the scenes at work, a day in the life of what it's like to be in your job, like that's a great way to like experiment and put something out there, and you'd be surprised what's out there. And then the next piece you want to do is, try an image or try a carousel or maybe a poll, right? Like just really get playful with it and experiment. And a lot of times, a lot of people are like, "Man, I don't have time to post. Like, I don't like. That's a lot of thought and work." What I do all the time on the platform, I schedule my posts in advance. So if I have the time and I'm thinking about something, I'm able to say, "Okay, like I don't have time. I have time right now, but like it's hard to like type in the moment. So I'm gonna type this out now and I'm gonna send it out later." And that's really helpful as well. I think another piece which is really helpful when it comes down to posts is you really want to be in a space where you're thinking about a post as a conversation, right? Like if you're at a networking event or a dinner or whatever have you, what's that thing that's going to spark the conversation to get people going, whether that's in your industry or maybe that's in your career path or maybe that's a topic that you're really passionate about. And when you start to think about a post as a start of a conversation, that helps you craft things differently because now you're not just trying to like put things out to the ether, but now you're trying to have a dialogue with the people who are following you and the people that you're connected to now say, okay, like I want to start this conversation, but I want to go further. I want people to tap in. I want people to comment. I want people to have that conversation with me. And at the end all be all, if you're like, I don't know where to start, again, AI comes into the conversation where it helps you draft post content, where you're like, maybe you just give it a little bit of a prompt and you're like, I want to talk about X. And now it's going to say, hey, maybe we can start you off here.
It's interesting. I think this is where I go. This is my fallback when people tell me, well, I'm not looking for a job.
Yeah,
I'm like, follow the post or post. Then, if you're that secure in your situation, maybe offer some advice or intel to
right.
individuals that are, right? Use the platform to position yourself as a leader in your space, right? But I
Understand.
think anybody can get additional information. So even if it's not LinkedIn Learning, if someone says, "Hey, I don't really have the time to participate in some of that," which is kind of crazy, but I'm like, a post, you can tap into a post in seconds, get some
Second.
information, share some information, and create some dialogue. I think it's important for people to understand that people are there to connect and support one another. And within that framework, how are you showing up on the platform? So I think what you're speaking about is extremely important.
Absolutely. You're totally right. And with posts, a lot of people, this goes into the networking piece as well. A lot of people are like, KVL, like, how do I cultivate my network? Right? Like, or like, I'm not too good at networking. I'm really busy. I can't go to every happy hour. I can't go to every meetup. Like, I'm not on Eventbrite or, like I gotta go home and take care of the kids, this, that, and the third. You know how quick it is to just like leave a comment on somebody's post or maybe like their content or shoot them a DM of something that you appreciated. That goes a long way to like not even just to like show love, but also keep top of mind, right? Like I might have not connected. So people remember when you comment on a LinkedIn post. They
Yes.
remember when you like their content, and that's a great way to cultivate your network in a way that's authentic, but like a low lift because you can't be everywhere all the time, and you can't keep up with everybody, but you can. The post help.
When we do some of the coaching in our platform at East Coast Executives, we speak about creating the relationship before you need something from it.
Right.
And you know, so
Mhm.
if there's a company, if you have a bucket list company or 5 bucket list companies that you're interested in, and you just start seeking out leaders at those particular organizations, and you just start tapping in, liking their posts, maybe commenting here or there. Typically, they're going to, after a while, they're going to go to your profile and take a look and just be familiar with you. So when you do decide to tap in, they at least kind of know that you're serious about the industry or the organization, and I think that's always a plus, right? So do you have a process for accepting LinkedIn invites? I know you probably get a ton, and you're going to get a ton after this. I know our audience, they're going to tap in. We encourage them to tap in and connect with our speakers. I encourage them to tap in and connect with me because we're doing this genuinely from the platforms that we have. But
Yeah.
do you have any protocol for accepting invites?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, my philosophy is I try not to have a scarcity mentality about networking, where I try not to be like, well, I don't know this person, they added me, and I don't think it'd be helpful to my job. And, like they work in finance, I work in social impact, like I'm not gonna add them, or maybe they're in London, but I'm in New York or whatever have you. But I say to myself, like, if accepting this request can be helpful down the line, who am I to cut that off?
Mm.
Right. So for me, especially as a person who works in philanthropy, trying to help people, trying to think about how do we think about people who are coming back home from prisons? How do we help refugees? How do we help people experiencing poverty? How does the LinkedIn platform be better? Like, it's my goal to spread the message as far wide as I can. And I never want to be stingy about the opportunities that I'm putting out there. So for instance, I'm hiring an intern this summer, right? And I posted on the platform and on my for my intern position, and it got like 700 likes, right? Which is like a lot on LinkedIn platform. And so many students added me. They were like, "Hey, like I really want to intern at LinkedIn." And granted, I couldn't respond to every single message, but I at least connected with them to say, "Hey, like they might not, they may get into the internship pool for this time." Or they may not, but at least they know that like they're connected with me in this platform. And then on the front end, like if I share something else in the future, it may be another opportunity. Or maybe I see a post that is about a job, which I do all the time. I comment and say, hey, like I think this person would be good for this. Or I want my network to know about this opportunity or this position. So the bigger my network is, the more of a amplifying effect is on the activity that I have on the platform. So that's it. I mean, and then the only discriminatory thing I do is the scammers, right? We know that on the LinkedIn platform, right? The scammers are in your phone, they on Instagram, they on Facebook, they're everywhere,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Right, they're everywhere, and as a platform, we can't, we're like every other social media platform. We're gonna do our best through AI and you know human reviewers to get those scammers out and get those bad actors out. But it's gonna be a forever thing. So we just ask people to be vigilant and diligent about who they add. But if folks that look like a little sus, a little scammy, a little shady, I'm gonna deny those, but for the most part, like it's I welcome all, and I'm trying to build a village.
Well, we appreciate you trying to build a village, and I would imagine you're being successful with that. Let's talk about the resources.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, as a social impact team, as a diversity, inclusion, belonging team, we're always thinking about how can we, get more access to people who don't have it. And the first link you see here is opportunity.linkedin.com. What you're going to see there is some high-level LinkedIn learning courses that are free. And so if folks don't have premium, these are courses that are unlocked, that are free, that are based on the top job prospects that we see on the platform through the data that we see, where people can start to take those courses for free in order to pivot into those jobs. The second thing you're going to see is like interview tips and help. One of the biggest things on the LinkedIn platform is that you can actually practice interviewing on the platform, where you go to the interview prep tool and you're able to see that through the thousands and millions of points of data, we know what the top 26 questions are that interviewers ask at any company that are generic. And then from those questions, which everyone hates this question, like, tell me about your weaknesses, right? Why do you want to work here, right? These are simple questions that everyone asks, but like they're anxiety inducing. They're hard to answer. And on the opportunity.linkedin.com, you're going to see that interview prep tool, and you can now practice that answer where you can record a video, or even you can write a response. And now you're going to be able to see sample responses of how other people have answered those questions. But then to take it a step further, Kenneth, you're able to say, hey, like, I just practiced how to answer the question of why do I want to work at this company? And me and you are connected on LinkedIn. Now I can send my video recorded response to you and say, hey, give me feedback on that, right? Give me how did I do on that? How can I be better? And now that it's such a powerful tool, because now you're saying, okay, I just practice interviewing, and now the networking piece comes into play. Now I'm leveraging my connections and the people in my community and my village to make me a better person, all digitally right in the palm of your hand. So, and then the third piece on opportunity.linkedin.com is that you're going to see a lot of other tool guides of how to post content, how to become a thought leader, like all these different things to really be helpful to you. So that's link one. Link two is that you're going to see more learning content on, we created specific content for veterans, refugees, formerly incarcerated folks, students, where it's really digestible and accessible, where people can say, hey, like, I'm coming from a specific context, right? My journey looks a little bit different. And we know that. We know that not everybody's journey is the same, and that the LinkedIn platform is universal, but people have different approaches to it. And we want to provide tailored content to them in order for them to see that this is a place for them. So that's the social impact link. And then the third link is the career explorer, which we talked about before, which is, again, seeing the jobs that you're qualified for with the skills that you already have. So you're not starting from a place of zero, but it's taking in what is the skills and the jobs that you already have, and what are the things that you're possibly qualified down the line.
That that's all amazing, because when I think about the platform, when I speak about it, it's about meeting people where they're at, right? And
Right.
and so I speak about it from that standpoint, because people say, well, I don't have enough experience, or I don't do enough posting, or whatever it may be, right? You can come on the platform at whatever level you're in. And then, I have people that say, well, I don't know how to use it. And I'm like, the only way to find out is to get on the platform and just start experimenting and using some of the tools and resources. So I can appreciate the whole meeting people where they're at, especially with some of the social impact issues, or some of the social impact opportunities. I know that's near and dear to your heart. Tell us a little more about kind of that work. I think that's really important for this platform.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that opportunity is talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not, right? We know that, speaking to the Urban League, we're like, the Urban League's been in the civil rights and social justice movement for decades, that, that there's so many things that hold people back. And a lot of times it's not the resume, it's not the skills that they have. It might be, their background, the zip code that they were born into, right? It might be, their race, it might be their gender or whatever have you. It might be their incarceration status, it might be their immigrant status or whatever have you. And for us, we know that we want to see everyone win. We want to see everyone thrive. We want to see communities whole. We want to see communities healed. And we just want to play a part in that. And we know that we're not the end all be all. We're not LinkedIn is not the silver bullet to solve economic injustice or gender disparities in pay, or, to solve discrimination in the workplace. But we say to ourselves, what can we do? How can the LinkedIn platform be a tool in people's toolbox to get to the economic freedom that they want? And for us on the social impact team, we just want to be in community with nonprofits around the world who are helping other people. And we want to equip them and job seekers like on this call to say that we just want to give you the tools that you need and make life easier. Because how many know when your bills are paid, you sleep good at night, right? You sleep real good at night, or when you get that new job, or when you're thriving in your career, or your small business is thriving, like, you know what that does to people's mental health? You know what that does for the household? Do you know what that does to people's families and their children, or maybe in their loved ones when they're thriving? When we know people are thriving, we know communities thrive. So, when we think about social impact work, we're thinking about how do we come alongside people? How do we leverage the LinkedIn platform as best as we can? But then also, how do we give people the information they want to get to the economic freedom that they deserve?
And I know personally with yourself, with Jacqueline Jones creating strategic partnerships to support organizations like the National Urban League. There's really important work being done, and I just want to say I personally appreciate it. All right, listen, I'm looking at this Q&A, man. It's going crazy. They want me to go over here and start asking you questions, my friend. So let me
Let's
know.
do it. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So I'm going to start here. Gentleman says, I definitely recognize the benefits of AI, but how does it seem the job seekers will probably all get the same assistance? How can you get AI to help you stand out amongst other candidates applying to the same job? This is really a generative AI conversation. Talk to them
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I tell people that AI is the starter, but not the finisher, right? Like you're the finisher, you're the author. AI is just a help, right? It's just that's why it's called assistant, or we call it agentic technology, right? Like it is there to help you, it's not there to do the work for you. So I'd say with the AI tool, like it gives you a starting, like a rough draft, a starting place, and then you kind of come in and say, okay, how do I tinker this a little bit to sound more like me? A lot of times what I'll do with AI is like I'll write something out myself and then I'll say, AI, like make this a little bit more shorter, make it a little bit longer, make it a little bit less formal, right? Where these are things that you would already do yourself, but now the AI tool is helping you get there, but it's not the end all be all. So when it comes down to messaging a recruiter, the AI tool, you might not know what to say to the recruiter. You might not know how to structure your message, but the AI tool is going to give you that structure. But then what's going to make it that special sauce? What's going to get William Brown, which we may be cousins, who knows? Because we all have the same name, last name.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Right? Like you might go in and say, okay, like the AI prompt or like the response is real vanilla, right? But I'm the chocolate sauce that I'm gonna put on there, and I'm gonna alter this sentence. I'm gonna alter this sentence. I'm gonna put in this little experience that I want to put in, or maybe I'm gonna make it a little bit more relevant to the job title that I'm looking for, or maybe I'm gonna connect a specific experience that I know that recruiter will care about. And then now the AI tool is giving you did 50% of the work for you, but you're taking it over the hill to make that message to that recruiter for that job sound more like you and be more unique.
Yeah, yeah, William. Listen, it's going to provide the foundation. You're going to accessorize on that, right? You're going to put your style into that. So, you are your unique you. Everybody's a business of one. You're your personal business. Use the tool to get you started, and then start using yourself and your thoughts to make it uniquely you. All right, let's go on to the next question here. So they want to know how many email messages can you send both with and without premium? Um,
Yeah.
you know that answer?
Yeah. I think off, don't quote me on this, but for what I remember, I think without premium, it may be about 15 a month, I want to say. And then with premium might be about 30 or 45. Which like is that's a huge jump. And that's why premium is so helpful. Um, Another thing too with the email messages, so a lot of people are like there's a lot of sometimes there's a lot of confusion about how all that stuff works. So just to give it a little bit more, because we have a little bit more time, a lot of times you can mess if you don't have premium, you can message people when you add people as a connection, there's an opportunity to say, hey, add a note, right? So when you add that note, that's a way to kind of message people, and like it's a character limit, it's about 300 characters, so you can't really get fully extensive. But that say if you run out of in-mail credits, that's a way to kind of get around that, where you can kind of give people a little bit of an insight of what you're looking to talk to them about. So that's number one. Number two is like if you're not connected to somebody, but you want to message them first before connecting with them, that's where the in-mail credits come into play and allows you to expand your network even further that you're not connected to. And that's why email credits are so important, because some people, depending on their privacy settings, don't allow people to message them when they connect. And that's why InMail is really helpful, because it's kind of like that cold email, that cold call that people are actually going to see, because most people read their LinkedIn messages. So that's why it's important to use those things as much as you can, especially if you're looking to build your network, pivot into an industry, or even find a job. Use all those email credits every month.
We're getting ready to dive in it now. We got a power user here. They want to know if sales Navigator is something entrepreneurs should consider. So what I'd like you to do first is
Yeah,
if you can give a brief description of what Sales Navigator is for the
yeah,
people who may not be familiar, but
yeah,
then
for
I'll
sure.
jump into the question.
I'm gonna give a quick caveat. I am not in sales. I just work at LinkedIn and I know a lot about our products. So, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a relationship management tool where it's used for people who do sales, right? And even people who do fundraising at nonprofits to kind of analyze your network, and it is able to kind of pull data and say, hey, I'm looking to find this specific person who's a buyer for the type of things that I'm selling, whether it's a service or a product. So it's able to pull that information, but then it's also it tells you relationship data of who is this person related to in the network? When is the last time they were on the platform? How likely are they to respond to messages? Right? Like what are the things did they just have a work anniversary? Like all these different types of things to make your pitch a little bit easier, or identifying who is the right person that you need to sell to. That's like baseline of Sales Navigator. And I think when it comes down to, I've talked to a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs. Sales Navigator, they always tell me it's super helpful, because when you're trying to figure out who to start with, like think about how you approach sales regardless. Like either you're meeting somebody or you're trying to figure out, okay, like who are the people I need to sell to? And Sales Navigator is a really good place to start. We're starting to tell you, okay, who are the potential buyers? What are the relationships that you need to leverage in order to get to the buyer? And then what are the insights that you need to know about them in order to make that pitch a little bit easier?
Yeah, and as an entrepreneur, I'll just add, Sales Navigator really allows you to hone in on the specific people that you need to be speaking to, because the filters, right? Whether it's geographic, people's LinkedIn activity, job titles, whatever it may be, if you're responsible for sales in your organization, and if you're an entrepreneur, you probably are the one responsible for sales. It's a valuable resource, but just like any other resource, you have to use it and leverage it. So take that into consideration. All right, let's keep it moving. Do you have any advice for utilizing LinkedIn to switch industries? So this person's making a pivot, but they're trying to do it while remaining somewhat private because their bosses or their connections on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, sounds like you want to keep it on the low, as we as we say from New York. And what I love is that someone else asked about the open to work feature. So a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
have seen on the LinkedIn platform that green banner that says open to work. And that's a great tool. And what that open to work feature allows you to do, like that's a more public version, but there's also a setting where you can say, hey, I'm looking to apply for these specific roles in these specific cities or this specific opportunity, but I only want people with LinkedIn Recruiter to see it, where it's not blasted out to your whole platform. And now your manager is likely not going to see it because they don't have LinkedIn Recruiter, because they're not a recruiter, right? So because people who use LinkedIn recruiters are recruiters, so you want those people to see that you're open to work, but you might not want you want to put it on Front Street and have your whole network or even your manager to know that you're looking for a job. So that's a great way to kind of stay a little bit under the radar and incognito about what your job searching activities. But then getting to the broader question of how do you switch industries on LinkedIn, what I mean to tell people that I think LinkedIn is one of the best tools to switch industries. It's hands down. I've seen it so many times. Because in order to switch industries, you need a couple of things. You need about three things. You need skill set, right? You need a network, right? And you need to know what the opportunities are. And all those three things exist on LinkedIn, where if you take the skill set piece, you might, from the Career Explorer, which we talked about, you might be like, okay, I want to switch into this thing. What are the skills that I need to have in order to switch into that? And what are the skills that I already have that I can highlight that make it more likely to do it? So the Career Explorer is going to highlight that. But then you're going to take it a step further. Now you're going to start seeing courses that you need to start to take to build your knowledge in order to demonstrate you can pivot into that career. The second piece is that you need a network. As we talked about, a lot of times your relationships are going to take you where your job profile can't. So a lot of times, in order to pivot to another industry, you need to build that network in their industry in order to kind of put yourself in a good position. And what LinkedIn allows you to do is to visualize your network and say, okay, if I'm in sales, but I want to pivot to marketing, or if I'm in communications, but I want to pivot to healthcare, whatever it is, I need to know people in those spaces. Who do I need to connect with? So now the LinkedIn platform is telling you okay, these are the people that are in marketing at Verizon. These are the people that are in healthcare at NYU Langone. These are the people that are working communications at LinkedIn. And now you're not just drawing a blank canvas. Now you're saying, okay, like these are the folks that I need to connect to. And then the third piece of switch industries, you need to look at the jobs, right? You need to see what are the job descriptions, how much does it pay, what are the levels of credentialing, what is the seniority that they're looking for, this, that, and the third. And now you're able to also see, okay, like what are these types of jobs I'm looking for, and what are the skill sets and the requirements that they have on the platform. So now just to summarize all that up, you get what are the skill sets that you need to have through LinkedIn Learning. You build a network that you have that you don't have that you need in order to pivot, and then you're also seeing the jobs that you could potentially apply for once you're ready.
Man, amazing information you just shared there, my friend. Take a deep breath, please, and please circle back. And I'm sure there may be some closing remarks that you'd like to offer the Urban League Jobs Network audience.
Yeah, I would say closing remarks is that I think that LinkedIn is a place that has so much utility, so much value, especially with LinkedIn Premium. And I always tell people all the time, there's a billion people on this platform. There's a reason why there's a billion people on the platform. And even if you're not looking for a job right now, there's always a way to elevate your professional brand, to elevate your career, or either that's posting content, cultivating your network, building skills, building learning. But then on the flip side of it, if you are looking for a job, right, and there's 45 million people applying to jobs on this platform every month, you want to be a part of that equation, right? It's like, how can you win a game if you're not playing, right? And then like as I said before, like Kobe Bryant said that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And LinkedIn allows you to shoot those shots. They allow you to DM those recruiters, to DM those hiring managers, to find those new people, or even if you're an entrepreneur, to find to find those buyers for your new job, for your product. So I say that like utilize LinkedIn. A lot of people are like, man, I'll tell you a really quick story. A lot of times when I meet people in person, they say, like, I tell them I work at LinkedIn, and kind of it's funny every time they go like, oh, I haven't created my profile. I haven't updated. I'm like, I'm not the LinkedIn police. I just happen to work here. I just happen to work here. And I say people like you get in what you put in. So the more that you use the LinkedIn platform, the more it knows you, the more that you're going to see some good things come from what your activity is going to be. And I'm just saying, like, even if it's like once a week, take a little bit of a scroll, try something new, message somebody different, take a course, do something to invest in you, because the more time, every moment that you spend on LinkedIn is an investment in your future.
Indeed. Well, listen, man, an investment in everyone's future indeed was having you here today, my friend. You were amazing. I'd like to thank you on behalf of the National Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series for joining us today, Mr. Kel Brown from LinkedIn. If you want to connect and just kind of stay connected to the work of Mr. Brown, please do not hesitate to tap into these links here. I know they're here, but I'm sure they've shared them in the chat as well. Corey O'Donnell and his team doing great work behind the scenes. We definitely appreciate you for that. Also, if you want to tap into the work that we're doing at East Coast Executives, or if you just want to connect with me on the LinkedIn platform, I sincerely appreciate it, because that's kind of what I do. I love LinkedIn. I'm there often kind of doing the work that I do, but you can tap in with me and my work at any of these actual places here. Listen, AK Vel, I'm getting ready to hijack this for a second, because
Yeah, do it. Do your thing, man.
today is my 5-year anniversary hosting the Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career
Congratulations.
Series, man. So I remain incredibly grateful for the opportunity to guide these conversations and to play just a part in supporting the career journeys of so many people out here. I'm humbled by the unwavering support that I've received from Wanda Jackson and the entire team at the National Urban League. It's been amazing. Of course, our exceptional guests, people like you that come on the platform every other week and share their time and expertise. We really appreciate you. Our sponsors, it's been a great ride. I really have enjoyed the last 5 years. It's been amazing. Hopefully more to come. And of course, each and every one of you for tuning in week after week, getting information that helps advance the careers. The platform it's been a collective effort, and it's truly proof that it takes a village to drive success. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everyone who's contributed to the journey. And once again, once an urban leaguer, always an urban leaguer. I look forward to many more years of empowering, educating, elevating. And until next time, because on the next show, it's going to be a big show. We got Mastering Messaging. Gabrielle Gambrell is coming through. You do not want to miss this. So join us next week for that conversation. Yes, I said next week. We're rolling through. We're going to do back-to-back shows, I think 3 of them. So we're on next week, next Wednesday again. So please tap in, register for Mastering Messaging with Gabrielle Gambrell. Again, I'd like to thank everybody at the Urban League for making this such a special opportunity. I'd like to thank Kel Brown, Jacqueline Jones, the whole team at LinkedIn. Andrew came out to the conference 2 years ago when we were in Houston and killed the stage. I love so many of the people that work over there. You guys are great. And thank you for being a supporter of the Urban League Jobs Network Digital Career Success Series. Everybody, look, enjoy your week. Have a great one. I'm Kenneth L. Johnson. Look forward to seeing you next week.